Attention, your paradigm is about to shift at the intersection of fact and reason. You're entering Kingston Country.
I'm Dan Kingston, and you're listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast. So today the House has approved rules for Trump's impeachment inquiry. I'm so sick of the impeachment inquiry. I'm so sick of all the things impeachment. Every day it's another impeachment story in the news. We all know how it's going to end up. Senate's not going to convict. They're not going to remove Trump. There's no way they're going to turn on Trump this close to an election. Everybody knows that. We all know the House Democrats are going to impeach, so should they just do it already? Just get it over with. They want to drag this out as close as they can to the election, which is just proof the whole thing's partisan. It's a partisan show. I mean, that's what it is. It's what Alexander Hamilton, right, warned against how impeachment might play out in the Federalist Papers. He wrote that impeachment will seldom fail to agitate the passions of the whole community and to divide it. Hamilton knew how this was going to play out, completely along partisan lines. But that's a reality of our political process. We live in an ideological groupthink mentality where you're either, for us or against us. There's only two sides, black and white, evil versus pure, when of course that's not the reality we live in. That's not the reality of the world. The world's full of gray. Why aren't we talking more about the gray? Oh, because I guess the commercial breaks are too frequent and the IQ of the personalities are too low to give this any kind of in-depth analysis. What's really going on? What's really happening with the impeachment inquiry? Why are some Republicans seemingly more against it, while others seem to be keeping quiet and reserving their options down the road? Well, I would point out that we know the rhinos and the neocons are not fans of Trump. But Trump is a popular president. They're not going to turn on him before the election. What, they're going to choose Pence? Oh, yeah, they want Pence. They want Pence to run. If you want to give a shot at the Democrats winning in 2020, turn on Trump and put Pence in there, Republicans. That's a great idea. They're not that stupid to do that. They'll wait until after Trump is reelected. So what's this really about? Obviously, they're just trying to take down the president. They're trying to hurt him politically. And that's exactly what Alexander Hamilton warned about. He said, in many cases, it will connect itself with the pre-existing factions and will enlist all their animosities, partialities, influence, and interest on one side or the other. And in such cases, there will always be the gravest danger. The decision will be regulated more by the comparative strength of the parties than by the real demonstrations or innocence or guilt. That's Alexander Hamilton writing about the imperfections of impeachment, but nonetheless why it's written into the Constitution, why we have it. Now, my family really wants to go to Hamilton. I don't know. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. I hear it's really, really great. A really great show. And so I'm kind of like, I'm not really into musicals, guys, but they really want to go. They really want to take me to see Hamilton. And, how many times can you get together with your family and really do something? I guess it's on my dad's bucket list. He wants to take me and my wife. So we'll go. We're going to go see Hamilton. And in this show, Mike Pence, he got booed. I don't know if you remember that. He got booed at the end of Hamilton. And then, but he said it was a good show. I mean, just because I'm not so into musicals, this kind of thing. But I said, Dad, if you're into it, if it's on your bucket list, let's do it. Twitter's Jack Dorsey is going to ban all political advertisements, not letting any political advertisements on the platform at all. Well, that's one way to deal with fake news. You just don't include any news. He says our democracy isn't far along enough to handle, I guess, political advertisements. This is coming from Jack Dorsey. He really does not think much of our country. He doesn't think much of our constitutional republic. To think that we can't handle the First Amendment We can't handle the freedom of speech or of the press. No, we can't handle it. Our democracy is not evolved enough to handle the Constitution that was given to it at its birth. No. We have to grow up older in order to deserve the constitutional protections that we've been given. The Bill of Rights doesn't protect us. No. Not until we're old enough to, deserve it. Right. Jack Dorsey. Yeah, makes sense. You make sense. Well, I was suspended from Twitter today. Yeah, I was suspended. They really don't respect the First Amendment, the spirit of the First Amendment, the spirit of the American Bill of Rights. Jack Dorsey has his own Bill of Rights, and that's whatever makes him feel good. I guess he believes he knows what's best for America better than the Founding Fathers themselves. I do believe that social media platforms are the 21st century public square. And if you don't have freedom of speech in the public square, where do you have it? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. So why not abide by the spirit of the First Amendment? Would that be too hard? Well, maybe it would be difficult, but nothing in life that's worthwhile is easy. And I don't think the Constitution was easily created. I don't think the Founding Fathers agreed on everything. I think they had to come to compromise to give us this beautiful document that's held the country together for so long. And now we're picking it apart, whichever piece you don't like. And Dorsey doesn't like any of it, I guess. He's just going to shit on the whole thing. I was suspended on Twitter today. And I simply reminded that anybody taking up an armed revolt against this great country deserves to be publicly hung. That's Section 18 U.S. Code 2381 on treason. That's not me asking for harm. I'm saying, if you take up armed revolt against this great nation, you deserve to be publicly hung. And by the way, I was responding to a poll that was asking if you would take up arms if the impeachment inquiry goes through. Now, look, I don't agree with this impeachment. I don't think the Senate's going to be able to convict because I think the American people are going to see right through it. But if the deep state wins this time and they get Trump out, and you're going to take up an armed revolt against this constitutional republic because you didn't get your way? Well, what a sore loser are you? And I wonder, the person who put out that poll, how American that person is. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder about that. It's not an American thing. Violence in the political process. No. By the way, the pen is mightier than the sword. And that's why everyone's so afraid of the First Amendment. That's why everyone's so afraid of the Bill of Rights. That's why Jack Dorsey would rather just ban all political advertisements, because it's easier. It's easier to do that than Zuckerberg's approach, which, allowing all speech. That's the tough choice. And I hate to say it, because Zuckerberg is no, brave, courageous soul. He's Zuckerberg, He started Facebook as a pervert pet project in his dorm room in order to score, some tail. Don't put up Zuckerberg on this, high and mighty throne because he got this one right on the, and it's an obvious situation. You're either going to respect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the spirit of the First Amendment, or you're going to shit on it. Every American corporation, every American citizen, every person in this country has to decide for themselves. Is the Constitution antiquated? or brilliant. And if you believe it's brilliant like me, we must do everything to protect it in its entirety. You can't pick and choose. You can't say, oh, yeah, I like the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. But, hate speech, that's entirely different. We'll make a law against hate speech. That's perfectly fine. We can do that. Or Facebook, we can tell Facebook what to do. We can tell Zuckerberg that he is required to police the speech on his platform. Well, that sounds like fascism to me. Where do people go talk about politics these days? Like an everyday person, if you're not Rush Limbaugh, where do you go and talk about politics? Maybe you have a podcast like me. Great. Most people, they go on Twitter, they go on Facebook. This is the public square, and it needs to be protected.
Kingston Country. You've been listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast.